everybody, welcome to Hunkin' Junkin'. Today we're going to be making something really good for you guys. I'm going to be taking this big pile of parts, just old random stuff, trucks that's missing stuff, and missing beds, and trailers missing fenders, and we're going to make us up something really cool out of all this, put on the top shelf. So stay tuned, don't go nowhere, and I'll be right back. We're going to cut it a little high up here because I'm going to make my shear cut down here. I want to have plenty of room. This is going to be our bed sides. This and the other one. Alright guys, so we've got our bottom taken off of our horse trailer here. Fenders are already gone. We've cut the top off and we've got this much of it left. So now what you want to do is just kind of straighten it all out as best you can by hand. And we'll go and put this in our vise and get a lot of these waves out of it, and then we'll hit it with the hammer before we cut it and mark it. Alright, let's put this in our vise. Alright, so now we're going to draw our line up here so we can put it in the shear. Basically what I'm going to use, you can see the line go all the way down and you got the V in the middle. So I'm going to use the top part of this line. So yeah, it's just a little bit above. A little bit above that, we're right where we want to be. So now let's go put them on the shear. Alright, so here we are at the shear. We're going to make our cut. It's got to be perfect. Alright fellas, so now what we're going to do is we're going to measure our sides so that we can make our bends in here. I'm going to measure those at 2 3/4. Guys, I'm going to use my vise to bend these instead of my shear. I'm going to show you guys at home how you can do this. I'm going to take my 2 pieces of angle iron. These are aluminum, obviously. Put them in there. And I got my lines marked. I had to move my line up a little bit. So I'm gonna put my line in there against this right here, and I'm gonna make my bend in my vise. So that got me a nice pretty 90 degree. So fellas, we got our bed sides. It's starting to come together a little bit. This is going to be our top right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a dove on the end of this bed. So let's go ahead and cut this off. Let's say 3/4 of an inch. So I've measured my height here. That's going to be the back. Got it there. And I'll put me a mark up here at the end of this channel, so it'll be easy to find it on my other one. Actually, that needs to come over. Be our cut line. Here we are on our shear, guys. Let's go ahead and make that perfect cut. Alright, now we're going to have to get our dove perfect on both sides so that our bed sits right. So I'm going to file these down. It's hard to get that cut perfect on the shear. So I'm going to file all this down, get them dialed in just right. Alright guys, so we've come to the time now to where we kind of need to tinker on our truck a little bit. When I put the bed side up to the truck, to me the axle is just too far forward, so I kind of want to at least pull it back here to the end of the frame as far as I can. And I'm actually going to be lowering the truck some too, but I want to get that axle pulled back here. So I need to get this axle off and pull back to the back of the frame and get my truck lowered to where I want it so I can cut out my hole for the wheel opening. Problem is, when you buy these, I hadn't tried this one yet. 90% of them, you can't hardly get the wheels off. We might luck out on this one, they might come off. No, they're not coming off. That's the normal method there, fellas. As you can see, it ain't budging. Simple trick. I've got a hand torch. When you do this, the trick is to not heat the tires, just the axle. Don't hit the bed, don't hit the frame, none of that, just the axle only. So you're going to heat up the axle. See it turning? And there you go. Still hot, don't touch it. Otherwise I'd have been fighting that all day. So there we go. Now we got this apart. Now I'm gonna do the front. So they might luck out. Alright, so we got our wheels off our truck. So now what I want to do is, I want to kind of put the bed somewhat together and down on the frame. What I'm gonna need to do is cut a little bit out right here, so I need to figure that out, how much I'm gonna have to cut. So I'm gonna say See the little holes right there? I'm gonna cut right on the outside of them 2 little holes, and then I'm just gonna kind of work my way over until I get it fit just right. And I'm thinking probably, I think we're gonna do it like that. I like it better with the bottom of the bed lined up with the bottom of the cab, so I'm gonna do it like that. So I'm gonna come right over to the outside edge of this hole, and I'm gonna go up probably a good 1/2 inch. We'll start there, then we'll just kind of trim it on down from there. So I think what I'm gonna do, fellas, because I don't like the way these ride, I want it low. I'm gonna use that as an axle hole, and I'm gonna poke new holes up here in the front. These will be real simple. Once I get these holes drilled, then I can line them up to my bed. Jenga blocks, travel size. They work pretty good for a lot of things. Mock-up is one. I've got a roof bent up, almost ready to go on there. It's going to need a little bit of adjusting, but you're getting the picture, right? Right. Alright guys, so I went ahead and took all the paint off, and another thing I done was I shortened it down a little bit. Basically I just marked down on the bottom and straightened this back out, put it on the shear and cut a little bit over 1/4 inch off the bottom. It's just a little bit too tall. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to clean up my inner fenders here. I'm going to line these holes up right there. They should be in the exact same spot. There we go. There. Now I can put it in the vise, hit it with the pop. So we got it in the vise, so let's go ahead and get it all lined up perfectly. Alright, so now we've got our wheel arches nice and prettied up, got our sides nice and clean. This is going to be our bed floor. The other one that I had, I cut the sides too short, so I had to swap them out, so I just went ahead and grabbed another one. But as you can see, all I've done here, this is a natural bend from the part that I used. All I've done here is I measured up to measure my bed, and I just put my cut there and bend it down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some braces across the front so that I can attach it all, and we'll turn this into a bed real quick. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, guys, I don't have a lip up here in the front to weld to. So I took me a piece of scrap metal and bent it over here, a piece of sheet metal. So I'm going to line that up about as perfectly as I can with that edge. And we're just going to spot weld that in. So we're going to start spot welding this on. So we got our bed put together. Now we got to fix all of our spot welds all the way around. It's all got to be fixed. So let's get started. So we got our spot welds pretty much fixed up. Now I'm going to hammer this down and get this all nice and pretty. Alright, so we kind of got our edge laid over a little bit. And I'm going to take my 90 around it and get that edge nice and pretty to where you won't hardly even see it. So now we got our bed pretty much made. Now we need to make a bottom to go in here so that we can attach it to our frame. So we're going to try to muscle these bad boys back off. Nah, you know what, that'll be fine. So I'll measure my frame up here. I'm right at 2.5 inches wide, just a little bit over. So I'll make it 2.5 in the front. And in the back, looks like it's right at 2 inches. And it's going to taper just like the frame. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to make our little frame about 2 inches wide. I need a 1 3/8 lip. So I'm going to measure my center, which is 3 inches. I figured out I needed around 6 inches total. So my 3 inches. And then I'm going to measure 1 3/8 off of my center mark. Alright, so I'm about 2 inches off the edge. I need it to be about 1 3/8 from here to my lip. So let's see here. But that bend has to be on this side. So I'm gonna go 2 inches here and make me a mark. And then I need to be 1 3/8 off of that mark, off my 2 inch mark. So. So we got our piece in. Now let's go spot weld this thing in here. Alright, so we got our sides all together. We got our bottom all put on. Got the top kind of fixed. Let's see how she looks on the truck. Oh yeah. It's looking pretty good there, huh? Alright. So now what we gotta do is we just gotta mount it. Well guys, that's pretty much going to wrap us up for you for today. We got our bed made. We got the frame and everything dialed in. I'm waiting on a grill still, so that'll be here in the next few days or whatever, and I'll go ahead and slap that in and put it on the wall of fame here behind me. So, but I'll give you a quick look at. This is just the bed that we made. You can see it's got all the good stuff right there with the embossed tail lights and all the runners here. And this is all just a roof off of a U-Haul. And the sides are off of a Nylint horse trailer. So I could get all the little good stuff in there. So there we go. And the bottom. Let me show you that too. So I was able to use the U-Haul frame. I mean, this is just stuff built out of spare parts here, guys. This is all Nylint. And this is stuff you can do with boring toys. So don't be afraid to cut stuff up and hack stuff up. There's millions of them out there. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell, and make sure you come back to us. Make sure you're tuning in for that Tipping on Tuesday, because I'm giving away a lot of secrets. So y'all have a great day, and we'll see you back here again soon. Thank you for watching.